Hi everyone. Hope that's coming through here. I'm going to test my little stream. I always feel like oh, it looks like I'm going live. I'm good. I'm good. Proper. I'm properly in. Looks like I'm going. I don't want to hear myself. I don't want to hear myself. I never want to hear myself. I never want to hear myself. The irony of doing any type of stream is that I do have to hear myself at some point, but I don't want to hear myself. So, I just want to say this will be another short little stream. And I know I'm not facing the camera, but because I'm checking. Good. We're only like 3 seconds behind there. Oh, I stopped. It's okay. There we go. So in case anybody wants to chat with me, I can look over on this side. So let me go back to Blender. So today we're in Blender. And why is Steve Bijou's face nice and chocolatey right now? Well, it's because I have been spending part of the afternoon rendering out an animation for this little sequence where Steve is rescuing a friend of his, a friend who I will leave unnamed for now. And actually, I'll just show you that little sequence here. If you're tuning in, if you're kind enough to tune in right now, where am I? So for me, by the way, Blender is a constant exercise in not knowing what the F I'm doing. Okay, so there's the camera. But I've learned just enough to be kind of dangerous. So that is right now, it's in a very specific mode right now. This is like the material preview. It's quite pretty when you see it all rendered and good. So what you're seeing here is the actual camera display. So I've animated both the camera, the clouds, and also Steve's little tugboat. It's chugging a little, as you can see. It's chugging both as the boat itself. It's chugging in terms of the system. I'm doing my best here. This is not, so in the department of, I still don't really know what I'm doing. It's not a game-ready character in the least. It's not a game-ready tugboat. But I'm very happy with the way it physically looks, just aesthetically. Let me just give you a little sample of what it looks like when it's partially rendered. So what you're seeing in the background there, those are what's called a VDB file. In fact, let me find out the term for that. So VDB, they're open VDB files. So essentially they're used in programs like Houdini to make really beautiful, it's all the special effects that you see in films. So I'm actually trying to look it up for y'all, so I'm not just talking out of my butt. OpenVDB. How do you describe OpenVDB? BDBDBDBDB. But this is how you get things like particle simulations. In this case, it's clouds, tornadoes, all sorts of natural disasters. But it's a very, very cool file format. Having said that, so OpenDB volumes. So this is an actual volume that you're looking at, but it takes a long time to actually render out. So I've had to lower a lot of these render settings for this to really even look halfway decent. What do I need to do next? Oh, so this is why we're here. Not to go over rendering, not to go over all these the rigmarole, but just to have fun with expressions. Well, so why don't we do that? So where was I? Let me go back to that view, and I'll go back to where I was. You can see I have keyframes for the ship itself. There's a rig in there. And the rig itself I've actually cleared all the transformations of. And what that means is that I'm making sure, let me get back to this point. I want to get it kind of kind of so you could see somewhat spot on the face there. And this is now in isometric view. See that beautiful face of yours. I am going into sculpt mode. Let's do that. So there we go. So in sculpt mode, we'll do here. That's why he was chocolatey face. So I can start actually playing with his features. If I set, so you see these little shape keys here? These are the blend shapes. And the basis is just this like resting basis face. But if we want a happy face, made a happy face. The way I've done that is there's a little grab tool here. And I've made it symmetrical up here. And we can do this. Do little things like that. So as you know, Steve is driving his tugboat around. I can, in this case, he wants to rescue his friend, and so we'll make a new blend shape. So whenever the blend shape's down to this value of 0, resting basis face, right? And then we have sad face, and then I want sort of like a focused, concentrated face, like he's in fireman mode. We're going to add another key shape here. Call that focused bijou. Oh, and we set the value back to 1. So when it comes to actually keyframing these animations, it's simple enough for me to actually go into that timeline. There's an actual animation timeline here. And I could just theoretically, while on the go, so I have a separate camera that's in the cockpit, for instance. And I'll make sure that I can have easy access to those shape keys, and that's the way you go. So that's one way to do faces, and that can apply to multiple parts of the body as well. Focus. Let's get a little fewer brown here. I can actually make that slightly larger. Nose up. Like I got this. Like Maverick's got nothing on me. If we want to make that a little bit more asymmetric, I'll take the X off. Maybe put the nose up a bit. Bring it down like that. So I could even like, flutter between these 2 points here as keyframes, and that would totally work. So for instance, let's actually do that so you can kind of see it in how this all works. How the Steve Bijou sausage is made. So if, let's say I want to go from that specific, so I have to go back to object mode, I think. So you see this is also this is the actual rig itself, and it's, quite frankly, I've probably had the most difficulty playing with this rig. It's not my standards, probably not to anybody's standards who does rigging, but it makes me respect this. It makes me respect. It makes me respect rigging on a whole other level. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But I've been having fun with it so far. Everything is a learning curve as far as Blender is concerned in it. But I'm very happy that I've even gotten this far. If you look at my actual rig, or my whole figure, there's a lot of moving parts. I mean, even the pocket square has its own piece. I just love this character so much that I had a hard time sort of joining everything together, which you can do. And as I said earlier, Steve is not as decimated as he should be. So I'm just going to answer a friend here really quick. Blendshapes. So that's cool. So he turns his head at one point, right? So there we go. We get a little head turn. We're flying through the clouds. we're gonna let's say that's the close up right there as he's cruising through and he's really focused. So maybe from that sixth, as he's moving his head like 55th frame there. We want to be in the right. So the blend shapes matter because in terms of which object they're on. So I have to remember that it was here, and probably would be great if I actually renamed some of these groups. So many things to keep aware of. So these vertex groups, that has to do with weight painting, and weight painting has to do with which parts of the body react to your physical rig. I don't even think I explained that well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this little record key on the lower part there. So I'm watching the stream and make sure everything's coming through okay. It is, it is. Cool. Right here. Nice, nice, nice. How do I see? And I have a question. In case you are really good with VDB files, in case somebody's watching this and is like, yeah, I know about VDB files. It's such a specific thing to know about. But if you see in my background, I am getting issues with the way the clouds themselves are artifacting. You'll see it in the back. As this image resolves, a lot of calculations are being done here. You'll see that it artifacts a lot around the edges here, and it's even more apparent in the rendered file that I'll post later on this if I'm feeling brave enough to post that. Ooh, that is not showing up. Oh, so fun fact, all the textures were done in Substance Painter, 2021 version of Substance Painter. And I hope to be able to continue using it because, as you can see, it works a charm. The Steve Bijou himself was sculpted in Nomad Sculpt, which is an excellent iPad sculpting tool, and it's kind of overtaken any of my I used to do a lot of VR sculpting, and I still would like to. That's how the tugboat itself was made in Gravity Sketch. So I'm trying to divide time there and give my eyes some rest. So that seems to be working out okay. Let me see here. I'm going to, I can animate okay. I'm trying to find on Restream, there's a really cool feature where you can actually see all the chats that come through, and I just don't want to lose anything. We should be good. Okay, let's get down to it. Let's get back to where we were. But you can even within that rendered oh, maybe I need to be out of this mode, and that'll show you what I'm talking about. This might be better. There we go. So when I say a lot of calculations are being done, it's like light bounces and caustics and all of these grown-up terms that I know nothing about, but it looks so beautiful. Even at low quality, it's still, to me, like, it's just really dreamy. If I had, and I already have a pretty powerful machine, if I had a much more powerful machine, I would just have so much more of these clouds, like just in terms of background. Okay, so now you see it. If anybody knows how to fix all of this fringing right here, that would be great. It's a lot worse actually when it's rendered. And there's already some denoising happening here, so that's helping. But it's also it just doesn't look right. So I need to figure that out. Other than that, let's get back to the animation, shall we? So in this preview mode, you can see that again oh, let me get back to the camera. Where's the camera that I want? I want okay. So there's a camera. Let me see if I can get to that. Oh yeah, see it's way off there. I'm gonna set it in this view. That's fine. So say from the 55th. Yeah, so we have the record button on. Sorry, I'm like all over the place. I just have so many questions in general. We go back to the head. I'm going to set a keyframe here. So this little thing, believe it or not, is a keyframe parameter. Set it down there. And then let's make sure that by the 70th frame, we have a very focused Steve Bijou, which we do. We do now. So Steve's basic personality is that he's a helper at the end of the day. He is making sure that people don't get, species and beings don't get lost, quite literally, in the clouds. And he rescues them. If you look at the back of this, it has a little resting spot here where you'll find his friend soon enough. As you can see, Steve is mostly still in a T-pose because I reset it, and at some point I will rectify that. But I am just focusing on his facial expressions for now, which are lovely. Really need to set up a cockpit cam that like it's almost like a drone, maybe like operates like a drone around the tugboat itself, so it's always kind of in the area. So I just need to parent this camera, wherever it is, to that spot. Aha, roughly there. Make sure it's I honestly don't even think I'm doing this the right way. I'm doing what I can do. Why is this saying currently offline? Right? Okay. Oh, so let's, before I set down any more keyframes for that, because that's what that does. When I press this little record button, it actually records every little thing, every little adjustment I make. So you always need to be a little careful of when you turn that on. It's great for convenience sake, but it can bite you later. What's fun about, so I'm not a big fan of this seam, although I'm not sure how to fix that yet. But I really did model this to be in the shape, if you look at the silhouette without the wings and the top here. I wanted it to look like a Dutch clock. That was my first, for whatever reason, I just loved the fact that a Dutch clock, A, is so cute as hell, but it could look like a boat from the side. Or some sort of dirigible in this case. So I had a lot of fun with that. And let's see here. Yeah, we gotta do something about your arms, buddy. So at some point I will repose, do all the good stuff there, but that is just a short little primer tip, hardly a tutorial on how one plays with blend shapes in Blender. Everything else is, you know, well, it's all challenging at the end of the day, but it's well worth it when you know you can bring your character to life in this cool way. I can show you a little bit about the pose mode. So this is a Rigify armature. Get a little closer to you. So you see, like the eyes could move. There are things I can do with the neck, which has a keyframe set out. I don't know why. You can already tell, like there are things that just need to be fixed with this, with the rig generally. But it works. Like I'm not planning to do a lot of walking around with the character and things like that. At most, he's usually in the cockpit, or he'll move to turn around and be right there with his friend. I mean, literally, if he turns around, the friend is right there. There we have it. My plans are to really make a lovely little short with this. I don't know if I can or not pull that all off, but I'm just tackling it piece by piece, and hopefully you'll just see more little shots from it or more little animations. Today I'm probably going to try to render out just a little close-up of him and the camera going around Steve as he switches from resting basis face to resting focused face. Because that's what we want. We want to know that he's like on his way. He's going to help his friend out, and things will be good. So there you have it. I really wanted to keep it short today. Hope that was helpful, or at least insightful as to the creative grind. And I hope you all have a great weekend meanwhile. Take care.